a stand on their own futures, and it means they're taking a second look at whether they really want to be Democrats. Here to talk about it, Brilyn Hollyhand, editor-in-chief for the Truth Gazette, host of the Brilyn Hollyhand Show, and most importantly, co-chair for the RNC Youth Advisory Council. Wow, you're doing so much. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, guys. I appreciate the opportunity to talk.
And we have a copy of your book here. We're going to talk about that too. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been an exciting few weeks.
Awesome. You have that kind of like senatorial look going on this morning. Awesome. Looking really sharp. So why are we seeing this shift in politics? It appears that the 60s are over. The hippies are out, taken over by a conservative red wave smashing into high schools and college campuses. What say you?
Yeah, so as Democrats continue to be in disarray, Republicans are united. As you saw in that speech last night from J.D. Vance, I was on the convention floor as well and saw the momentum through the roof. I mean, J.D. Vance, just for example, a fellow young person, is the epitome of the American dream. Nobody thought when J.D. Vance was young, living the story out that he shared last night, that he would become the next vice president of the United States. But here we are, again, living proof that the American dream is alive and well. I think President Trump's strategic with how he's winning over the youth vote in droves in the past few weeks, and J.D. Vance is a big plus for that. Obviously, Vance is young, he's energetic, he's a political outsider like President Trump, a businessman before he got into politics. He's going to be a great debater against whoever the VP nominee is on the Democrat side. They're having some trouble figuring that out, but we cannot wait to see him become vice president. And when he gets sworn in January, he's actually going to be 40 years old, and Joe Biden will be leaving a 40-year career in Washington, D.C. So the contrast couldn't be more stark, guys.
It is a stark contrast. To what extent is this Gen Z change, and it just happened in the last 4 years because the Gen Zs gave Biden 20 points in the 2020 election, right? So, but suddenly Gen Zs are having second thoughts about Democratic politics. How much of this is in response to inflation and the economic difficulties they're facing?
Oh, a significant amount of it is. You're absolutely spot on there. You know, it's hard enough for my parents and grandparents to survive in Joe Biden's economy. It's even more difficult for my generation to get a start in Joe Biden's economy. And I've been here in Milwaukee for the past 5 days, and every time I take an Uber ride here to the convention hall, my driver is either somebody who's a retiree that's had to come out of retirement to take us, another job to be able to make ends meet in Biden's economy, or a college student having to take out a second or third job just to survive in Joe Biden's economy. We're seeing the brunt of this, and we're going to remember that when we go to the polls in November.
You know, I'm an adjunct assistant professor at NYU. I teach business management. I start every semester by saying we don't talk socialism and communism in our class. We talk capitalism.
I love it.
And, it's a mixed reaction. It's a mixed reaction. But many students, they stay in contact with me, one of which last month called me. He said, you know what, Professor, I had to switch parties. And I asked him why. He said, well, my mom is also conservative. She switched after me. Dad, he's still holding out a bit, but my mom and I, we think we're going to continue to work on him. So I'm saying that to say this. There's a huge shift, as you pointed out, on college campuses. Yeah. What's the strategy to actually foster more critical thinking, more peaceful discourse regarding policy, regarding politics, regarding all of the issues that we care about, but having that discussion on college campuses?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big thing is independent research. We heard from a speaker on the stage the very first night of this convention that she grew up in a family that constantly told her that we were the evil, racist people. And she was trying to prove that to a friend one day in college and did the research herself and actually proved the opposite. And so as you do the research yourself, you realize that we're on the right side of history. I mean, I think COVID was a big step for that. I think COVID radicalized my generation to become conservative because it showed us how bad big government was at its worst. Big government during COVID told my generation that we were forced out of schools for a year and a half. Big government told us we were evil, horrible people if we tried to visit grandma for Thanksgiving dinner. We had to, strap that diaper to our face for a year and a half. We really saw the brunt and the worst of big government, and that really showed us when you do your own research, you're on the right side of history.
You know, a lot of young people, especially in college, tell me that they don't feel free to express their conservative viewpoints on campus. If they write a paper in history class, for example, that expresses love of country or admiration for certain political figures, they get marked down. And their teachers even tell them their views aren't welcome in class. How do you handle that?
Yeah, it's by far the most difficult thing. It's very challenging when you go to college campuses and speak with people and they say, I'm proud to be a conservative, but it's terrifying to speak out. First of all, they know the second they say something, whether it's posting a simple repost on their Instagram story or actually standing up in class and saying something, they immediately lose their friends. They're immediately canceled within their community. And like you said, there could be retaliation from the professors. We have to push back against that. Every single night this week, there's been some different theme. Make America strong again, make America safe again, make America powerful again. The theme really needs to be make America talk again. When we start talking again, we're going to heal America. And young people realize that, and I think we can start that movement with Gen Z.
And I think many of these colleges and universities need to allocate some of their funds toward, let's say, conservative-leaning political groups or other type of groups where there is a space on campus where these students can actually share their ideas. But I want to make sure that we give you an opportunity to make some points that you made in your book and share with our viewers.
Yes, and tell us a little bit more about yourself, too.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got started at the age of 11. I'm 18 now, and this book is 7 years of conversations with the American people. 7 years of traveling the country, talking with as many Americans as I could, but more importantly, listening to even more of them. And the same message I'm hearing is the same message you're hearing. My generation doesn't have hope in the future. We do not have hope that we're going to grow up in a free and fair America, and we want to push back against that. We want to inspire the next generation. So exactly right. My debut book came out last Tuesday. It debuted at #2 on the Amazon bestsellers list, which is another testament that the American dream's alive and well. It's a really incredible opportunity to get to be here talking about it, and your audience can get signed copies at brylynbook.com.
In a good way, I'm going to follow you because I think in a number of years, I think you might be on a stage somewhere just as big, making a great speech to unify our country.
And accepting a very important job, right?
Absolutely. Brilyn?
Well, maybe one day we'll see. I got to graduate high school first, though. So we'll see.
First things first. I hear you. Thank you for joining First Edition.
Thanks for having me. Have a blessed week.
You got it.